get 5 minutes in, then we'll get started. Oh my gosh, dude, it's got so many scratches on it. That's so annoying. Ooh. What is that? Girl. Oh. I should turn that off. Oops. I'll turn it off when it comes on. That's it. Oh. What the fuck is that? What's that option on here? There you go. Just turn it here. Just leave it. Damn, how long am I looking for this shit? This is the stupidest story I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. Are y'all? I'm currently in Wisconsin and we are, what, feels like -40 outside? I don't know when we're gonna get it for the snow here, but we just had, I don't know, like actually the winters have been very strange here the past couple of months. Well, actually the past couple of years, the winters have been really weird. So we kind of had like sporadic storms where that really don't last that long though. Like we had that random one in November. I don't know why, but yeah, that random one in November, and now let me check the weather report. It may snow, but no, from what I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it's gonna snow at all. Just gonna be negative as hell today. It was negative yesterday too, and then Sunday it looks like it's gonna be negative at night. A lot going on. Too much going on, actually. Yeah. So, y'all stay warm out there. Hi, everybody. Sebastian, I appreciate the offer, but I don't ask people to subscribe and like anything unless they actually want to be subscribers, because there's really no point. It's like somebody like saving your store but then never coming to shop. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do it because you like what I do, not because you think that's what I want. Because it's not gonna blossom into anything. You know what I'm saying? What's the point of numbers if there's no engagement? You know what I mean? All right, 5 minute mark is coming up soon. Moderators are not here, but that's okay. It was kind of up in the air if I was gonna come on Friday or not. I really don't care if they come on or not. I can handle my own life, so it's fine. Sebastian, can you not see your name on the screen? Interesting. So, 5 minute mark about to be up, and we can get started on our topic for today. I want to talk about it because I feel like it's one of them things where it's very touch and go with a lot of people, but yeah. Okay. All right. 5 minute mark is up. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about today on live, it's not gonna be the only things, I don't think I'm gonna be on that long, is I'm not against AI, y'all. I'm not fully against her. I truly am not. mainly because I'm somebody who I guess you can say values efficiency over anything. Like a lot of people are just like, well, AI is doing this, and this, da, da, da. But honestly, I'm just not against it. I'm not. Like, I'm somebody who is perfectly okay with innovation, growth, change. I'm okay with that stuff, right? As long as it's pushing us toward a more efficient way of doing things. And so, like, I know that AI, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I think the biggest problem that we have when it comes out to AI is there's no regulation. I don't think that that AI is bad altogether. I think that it's just when it comes down to how it's being currently handled and started and how the people who are in charge of it and all that stuff, the way that it's being done right now, it's not right. Right. Primarily, I'll use an example as to why I like AI. Right. So, y'all remember how crazy K-pop Demon Hunters was over the summer last year? How big it was. Everybody wanted to learn it. XYZ. Right. Well, if you're a native English speaker, learning Asian language is one of the hardest languages you can learn because their language is completely different from English. Like from the letters to how it sounds, and a lot of those languages are also very tone based. So, for instance, like our language is also tone based, but if you say a word, somebody will understand what you're saying, and that sentence will be the same no matter what your tone necessarily is. Yeah, the meaning can change a little bit depending on if you're being like condescending or not. But when it comes down to like the Asian language, if you pronounce something incorrectly, you can be saying a completely different word from what you know or what you think that you're saying, right? And so learning Korean is pretty difficult with the way how they speak and everything like that. And so I was trying my absolute best to try to learn the K-pop songs. Like, like I'm not a huge K-pop fan. There are some songs that I really like, but I typically don't go out of my way to learn the lyrics. I kind of just bop along because I like the song, right? But with K-pop Demon Hunters, I needed to learn those songs. I love those songs so much, so I had to learn the lyrics. It's like very difficult with Google because Google really only has like the Google Translate. And if you don't know anything about Google Translate, like if you've never used it, you can't put full sentences in Google Translate because it don't translate right. It just don't. It sounds very robotic. It sounds very weird. And on top of that, it doesn't really, how would you say, show you how to properly, I guess you say, pronounce the word where it sounds natural, right? And so how I learned the Korean like words and everything was with a lady who was on TikTok and Instagram showing people and teaching people how to say the words, but also through AI. I use ChatGPT to help me break down the song and then help me learn how to say the words in the way that the singers or rappers were saying it in the song so I could follow along properly. Because even when I was listening to the lady say it, even though she was perfect, obviously, I still was just like, I need to kind of like break it down in a certain way. I kind of have to see it and read it and, go from there, things like that. And so, like, I use AI to learn, like, the song Idol from the Soulja Boys. I learned how to use that from there. And so, the way that AI was able to kind of like break it down, personalize it, make it make sense, kind of show me the pronunciation, all that stuff. Like, I learned Baby's rap all through AI, like that whole thing. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense, Batch. I'm not really familiar with that, but like I used it for that, and I've seen AI used in so many other ways too. There's a lot of college students who are using it for note taking, helping with like citing sources, finding certain information, and on top of that, one thing I did not like about Google is that like Google could never really give you like a straight answer to something. Like you would look up something and then it wouldn't just populate the answer. It would just kind of like tell you like, oh, here's all these articles, read this. Now, I understand that for most things when it comes down to education and intelligence and things like that, when you're trying to learn about something, right? That's a little bit different than you just asking a simple question. Right. So one of the questions I just looked up the other day because I was watching a movie, a character had mentioned STI called VD. And I was like, okay, what the heck is VD? With Google, you look up VD and literally there's all these freaking articles talking about gonorrhea. And I was like, what? Okay, is VD gonorrhea? I'm searching through the article, I'm reading through it. They're taking a million and 1 years to get to the point. Why? Because usually articles, blogs, things like that, they want you to stay on their website for a long time. So the ads that they have running can keep their website up, right? Keep you in the article forever. I swiped past the AI part and tried to go to an article to read it. Then I just said, fuck this shit. Went back, typed in, is VD gonorrhea? Search that up, boom. AI said, yep, that's the same thing. Boom. Easy. That's all I need to know. I don't want to know every single thing about gonorrhea. I don't need to know every single thing about gonorrhea. I don't have to concern myself with that. Okay, I'm not getting myself involved with anybody. I don't play when it comes down to my health. I'm not getting myself involved with that, right? But I'm somebody who loves to know information. So if there was a situation where I had a friend or somebody who I needed to know, or God forbid, if I was ever to catch it some way, I would want to know what the symptoms and everything is. But so I do know what the symptoms are. I've known since I was in high school, but I've never heard the term BD before. So just being able to look that up, and the AI was just straightforward. Yep, that's it. Boom. Easy. On top of that, Google has this weird thing where like you can't put long questions into the search bar. Otherwise, it makes it seem like it's not like able to answer it or something. Like it's just like it tweaks out if the question that you have is too long. There's no too long of a question for ChatGPT. Like I can put it in there exactly how I need to ask it if I'm not really sure what I'm asking or what I'm looking for or what answer I necessarily need. And I would literally bring up like, oh, okay, here's this, this, and this, and kind of help guide me to the question I'm trying to ask to receive the proper answer that I'm looking for. So it's like I do not think that AI is the worst thing on the planet, and I do know that. Oh, hi, Mr. Gans. I think she's here. I think she's in here, but maybe not. But like I do think that like AI does need like regulation, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks that it is. On top of that though, I will say this, like I said, the way that AI is being handled, I know that it uses a lot of water and a lot of things, and it's very harmful to our environment. But that's, once again, I believe something that's just involving regulation, not necessarily weird stuff. Wasn't you the person who just said something weird? Yeah. Ramar, however you say your name. I saw the previous comment, babe, but okay. Anyways, what was I saying? I do think that it necessarily just needs to be regulated because, you know, the same people who bitch and moan about AI are the same people who are ordering an Amazon package every other fucking week. Every other day. You don't think that Amazon is using water? You don't think that Amazon is all those facilities that they have, that they're not using a boatload of electricity? You don't think all the little trucks that they got going on and all the little car flexes and shit like that, all that stuff doesn't take up a whole bunch of oxygen and shoots out carbon? You don't think any of that stuff happens? You don't think any of the fuels and stuff coming from all them big trucks and them little vans and all the people who drive around in their little cars delivering your packages, you don't think that has anything to do with the environment? What about that new car that you want? You don't think those manufacturers who are making those new vehicles, those new trucks and little sedans that you're looking for in the perfect color that you want, you don't think that they're using all that stuff to make those items? They are. You looking forward to the new iPhone, aren't you? You don't think they're using water and stuff for that? Now, am I saying that it's using it at the same caliber as AI? Probably not. But at the same time, though, our current regime is not putting any regulation on that because Elon Musk is all up in our government, right? And so with that being said, it's like we need to focus on the fact that it just needs to be regulated and not necessarily that it's an automatic bad thing, because it is something that is useful. It is something that I think can be an amazing tool for a lot of people to be able to use. And people try to make it seem like because you won't go the hard route to find the same answer, that makes you lazy. If I want to find something fast and quick and efficiently, if that makes me lazy, fuck it. The laziest people on the planet are the most innovative people ever. Where do you think the electric vacuum came from? Where do you think the little hands-free, what is those things called, Roombas and shit came from? People who don't like to sweep. People who don't like to vacuum. Where do you think autopilot came from? People who don't want to fucking fly all the damn time. Where do you think that electric power steering wheels came from? People who don't want to constantly have to use all their brute strength to turn the damn car. We like to have convenience, stress-free, relaxation, as much as possible. Y'all be trying to make it seem like because somebody doesn't want to do things the hard way, that makes them lazy. No, I want to get the answer and still be soft. Why is that a problem? So I do not think that AI is necessarily like a bad thing. I think that it just needs to be heavily regulated. It needs to be under some type of contract, because there's a reason why those factories are still running. Those factories use energy. They use resources all the time. I drive around my city all the time, and there's a factory here. I'm pretty sure it's a brewery. And they have two big ass, what is those things called, y'all? The big silo or whatever the hell, the big things at the top that let out all the smoke. Chimney, maybe. That's what they're called, maybe. I don't know if that's what it's called for a factory, but those big old things. And I'll be riding past them things and they produce, I don't know how much smoke. But the shit is so big. It's so big and it's constantly running. That factory never stops. It's just constantly running. I look at that every day and I'm just like, I just don't know how much you're burning up the earth, but I know you are. And you're going all day, every day, nonstop. It never happens. It never stops at any point. All the years I've been living, all the times that I've been driving since I was 19, 24 now, and that factory keeps going. There's some type of regulation on that. There's some type of something that they're putting in there that is preventing them from being able to overuse or whatever. It's something. And so I just don't think that AI is just like 100%, you got to go. I do think there are certain things that need to be regulated. Like, for instance, there should be no reason why people are able to make like little videos that look real of people and like make automations of people's voices and put them like over the phone and stuff like that. That type of shit, absolutely not. There was another video where a lady posted it and it looked like, y'all, I don't know how the hell or what she used or what was going on, but it was a video that it's looking like her Ring camera. Like, it's looking like a video at night of her Ring camera of her backyard, right? And in this video, it's like her trampoline, and then it looks like a whole bunch of bunnies going on her trampoline and bouncing on the trampoline. They look real. If you're not really paying attention or if you don't know anything about bunnies' behavior, you would probably think that video was real. Because paying attention to people that's, oh, it's obvious that it's AI. To the naked eye, no, the fuck it's not. And especially if a lady is going on there and saying, oh my gosh, y'all, look what I caught on my Ring camera last night. Luckily, she admitted that it was AI. But when you look at the shit, it doesn't look like that. I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. Now, of course, me having previous knowledge of how actually bunnies interact, knowing that a whole bunch of bunnies wouldn't be on a trampoline, and then also knowing how high a trampoline is, how would a bunny get up there? And then also the amount of bunnies was just kind of weird. And I was just like, that's just not the behavior. How would they even know that a trampoline works like that? But the way that it looks, though, yeah, if you pay attention to it more, you're just like, but on first glance, it doesn't look like that.
Everybody has
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it so y'all can see. Bunnies jumping on a trampoline. No. Hopefully y'all can see this. So at first glance, the thing that just alarms me is just like, why does it look like that? Even though you know, you can look at it, you can see it, and like if you pay attention to, like I said, more, you're just like, oh, that just, why would that make any sense? How did the bunny get up there? How does the bunny know how to use a trampoline? Why is there so many bunnies in there? Bunnies don't interact like that. Like, knowing all those things, you can be able to look at it and pay attention to more. But the thing that's alarming me is that, yeah, you can tell that this video, based off of a lot of outliers, is AI. But how many times can this be made where it can look like it's real? And we're already getting scammers using people's voices to call people's families and all types of shit with AI. So do not get me wrong. I know 100% that it needs heavy regulation, but I don't necessarily think that it's like one of them things that we need to shut down automatically. Hold on, y'all saying stuff to me. If you're gonna have your plant for their generations, yeah, for your generators, whatever, yeah, yep, yeah, I agree with you, Pluto, 100%. That's another thing where they place these places. Like, once again, it's because of the current regime, and there's no regulation on that. But there is plenty of facilities that live in rural areas. There are plenty of them. Amazon has, I don't even know how many. If not hundreds of thousands, at least tens of thousands of factories all over America alone. In Wisconsin alone, they probably have well over 50 facilities here. I could probably drive to 4 of them right now. Within a 30 minutes apart from each other. 20, 30 minutes apart from each other. I could find them. And there's plenty of other factories and stuff too. There has to be some type of way that these factories are able to stay up and do what they do on a day-to-day basis, employ hundreds of Americans, or up to thousands of Americans, depending on how many facilities we're talking about here. And they're not getting as much like hate or anything like AI is right now. AI is just heavily unregulated, and there's nobody in charge of it. They're just able to do whatever the fuck they want. So it doesn't matter who's it's affecting, how much water they're using. It's none of that. Like the way that AI has progressed as well, that's another problem. It's way too accessible. It progressed way too fast, and it's because it's not regulated. And I know that's easier said than done, but at the exact same time, while the other fucking facilities can do that shit, they can too. Because I'm not gonna sit back here and make it seem like, oh, GMC or whatever, General Motors is not taking up a whole bunch of energy, using a whole bunch of resources to make all them damn cars every year. I'm not going to ignore that. I'm not going to sit here and act like Amazon is not using plenty and burning up plenty for all those facilities that they operate. Who knows how many packages they ship out in a day, let alone in a year. How many trucks they got driving around just in the country alone. In our state, I know there's hundreds. At the end of the day, there's somehow, some way though, that they're able to keep all those facilities and build them, and there's not that much, so that many problems. Thank you so much, Barbara, for the floating heart. That was so sweet. Yeah, it only takes a few more ads and a few more tweaks to make something real look real, and you can't undo it. Yeah. Yep. But the AI needs to have it for sure. Yeah, like it's one of them things that it's just like, that's why I say I can't with my full heart be like, yeah, AI is so bad, fuck this shit, da da da. Like, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I will be lying as an intellectual. I would be lying to you if I said that AI wasn't useful. I would. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't see the potential in it. I truly do. Like, I can see this really being very helpful for people who don't know how to do their learning styles, or people who are just trying to do research, or people who are just trying to get themselves educated. And unfortunately, with our current regime and the fact that these kids are not really learning, there's going to be a lot of them who are going to not have the intelligence that the previous generations did. And it's not really their faults. Like, it's like everything is kind of like stacked against them, especially since COVID. Things have severely changed. We are in a severe literacy crisis. So a lot of people have a lot of brain rot, and like Generation Alpha and like younger Gen Z, they don't know what it's like not to live with the internet, like all that stuff. Like, I'm older Gen Z, right? I was 2001. I think Gen Z starts in 1997. I'm older Gen Z. So it's just like we had a lot of the stuff that the millennials had, and we had a transition like in the 90s and all that stuff. We still had that stuff in the early 2000s. We know what it's like to have a childhood without the internet. Like, social media became a thing as we were growing up. So in our middle school years and in our high school years, that's when we started to learn about social media. But we know what it's like not to have it before. We know what it's like to have the book fair and having to do book reports and having to write 3-paragraph essays in an hour and all that shit. Like, we know what all that stuff was like beforehand, before having to rely on anything, having to go to the library and actually check out a book, having to carry around textbooks. We didn't have Chromebooks and shit like that in elementary school. We had the big back computers, the computer labs and stuff like that, like where you had to go and look for your information, where you had to carry those books around and actually do the research, like where you had to do all that stuff. Now, these kids, everything is at their fingertips. Everything is fast. And so they don't really see the point of really doing further research, on top of the fact that we have a bad regime that is not, who doesn't give a fuck about their education. Like, our current government is trying to dismantle the Board of Education. Like, they're trying to take away, they're trying to take the Department of Education away. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, these kids already cannot read. And then on top of that, the COVID situation, where a lot of kids who were transitioned from elementary school or middle school had to be homeschooled, or it was pressure put on the parents to make sure that they're doing their homework, make sure that they're doing this, understanding the assignments, when these parents be illiterate as well. These parents who be don't having the resources either. They come back from work and they're tired. They don't want to sit over here and make sure that little Timmy is finishing his homework. Yeah, that's the bare minimum, but at the end of the day, it's the bare minimum, but how many parents really do it? My mother didn't help me with my homework. My dad didn't help me with my homework either, even when I was growing up. I would have to do what I could while I was at home, and I would go to school and ask my teacher to help me. So think about all the kids whose parents had to do that shit damn near full time when it was COVID. These kids, like, they just don't have it. And so because I see how the literacy crisis are like causing an error, I feel like AI would be able to help personalize, like taking notes and things like that, helping these kids learning their teaching style so they can absorb information in a way that they can properly understand, because they're fucked, y'all. They are. And I like I said, I believe in things being efficient. I believe in things making sense. AI is efficient. If I'm trying to just look up something simple, I don't want to have to read 14 articles that's all 13 chapters long. It's going to take me 45 minutes to read each so I can stay on there and see all the ads they put up on their blog in order for me to just get a yes or no answer. On top of that, another thing that I have value with AI is that, like, you can ask it a question that you would ask a regular human being and they will respond to you with proper information. So for instance, right, say if you want to learn about day trading, okay, or you want to learn how to do like an Airbnb business, right? Everybody wants you to buy a fucking ebook to tell you what the information is or whatever. I'm interested in getting into Airbnb one day, and so one thing that I had asked, because I haven't gotten into it yet, I was just like, how are people who have regular 9 to 5s managing the cleaning of an Airbnb? Well, if you go on TikTok or YouTube, you gotta watch 1,001 13-part videos just for you to find that tiny ass amount of fucking information. Or you gotta buy this person's ebook, or you gotta purchase this person's live, or you gotta be a member and all this extra shit. And everything is a subscription and all this extra stuff, right? Just to get a simple answer. How are people who have 9 to 5s managing their Airbnbs efficiently? Specifically the cleaning portion of it. AI, boom. There it is. That's how people are doing it. These are the websites that they use. All the information at my fingertips for free. Now I'm educated more on how to do whatever. And then if I want to learn more about those companies, stuff like that, then I'll read articles. Then I'll go to their websites and I'll look into what's their policies and procedures, their privacy policies, things like that, how much it would cost, all that stuff. I can go and look up that stuff and go into research from there. But it is very, very efficient. However, I do want to say something else though. If there's not a way, which I doubt that there isn't, but if there's not a way for them to properly and safely regulate AI where it makes it safe for us to use on the planet, I'm not willing to sacrifice our planet for AI. Sure not. Sure not. Yep, I agree. We have to use it in moderation for sure. Sure not, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not. If it's killing our planet, and there's no way for us to regulate it, even though I doubt there isn't. If there's no way for us to regulate it or we just refuse to, I'm not willing to sacrifice our planet for her. She can go ahead out of here. Okay? I feel like Earth is going to survive anything. She's going to get rid of the thing that's killing her. I'll tell you that. But still, I would not sacrifice how our world is doing to have an efficient way to look up information. But I feel like there is a way for us to do that, though. And I can't sit here in the same breath and know the similarities and other things and then sit back and act as if those things are not happening. Like I said, I've purchased from fucking Amazon. I want the brand new car that comes out that has the new perks. I have to acknowledge that those things, those packages I'm getting, that car I want to buy, it didn't just fall out of thin air. Sure didn't just fall out of thin air. It was made somewhere that has machines that need water. Machines that use resources, machines that are in rural areas where people live. I need to consider that. There was a way for them to regulate those. So there needs to be a way for them to regulate the AI shit too. Because it's just another facility when you think about it. But the way that it's been done, the way that it's been introduced, the way that it's grown so fast, that is the problem. 100%. So people quick to talk shit about AI, but I'm just like, don't you have a couple Amazon packages? Don't you have to order Amazon every week? Don't you got so many Amazon packages coming in that you have a little snack bar for all the delivery people because you got 17 people coming to your house every week? You don't think that all them cars that they're taking, all them vans that they're driving, isn't help burning up the planet while you're ordering packages? And so that's one thing y'all will never ever see me do. Y'all will never see me kind of like, I guess you can say, completely, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like shoo away, I guess you could say, like new ideas or innovation or anything like that without seeing its potential. I can't do that. And I'm not somebody who's a follower, okay? Just because of the masses are saying, we hate AI. Sorry, Sade. I use that. I've used it and it's been very useful in a lot of situations. However, I do understand the upset at the same time, and that I do agree that things need to be changed and fixed to better adjust to our world. But at the same time, if there's no way for us to do that, I'm not willing to sacrifice our earth for which we live for a piece of machinery. Okay. But like I said, seeing them other factories, those other industries that are able to do this, and they've been around for all these years, and there hasn't been much argument or issues about them in the past couple of decades. If they could do it, we can do it. And I'm certain that Amazon got its heat back in the day too, and all them freaking car companies and all them other factories got their shit too about what they're doing and what they're not efficiently making XYZ, and they either went under or they pivoted where it was more eco-friendly. And that's another reason why a lot of these car companies too, they're like, I forgot, I think Dodge has a couple of cars that they're no longer making for gas. They're all going to be electric. I'm pretty sure it was the Challenger or the Camaro, one of them. Like they're no longer making the gas version of that car. Let me see, hold on, let me look it up. Let me see. Yep, the classic Charger, Challenger. Introducing electric models. Yep. Like trying to make them more eco-friendly. So like they're even pivoting. They're no longer even making gas cars like that. I'm pretty sure maybe one day they'll stop completely, because they see that they're not as eco-friendly. You're seeing a lot more eco-type makes. You're seeing a lot of hybrids. You're seeing a lot of electric cars because it's not very like energy efficient. It's not very good for our earth. So yeah, whatever your name is, K up or something like that, K Hub. I don't know why you think it's appropriate to say that to somebody on their live, but you should be embarrassed, sweetheart. That's immature. It's childish. And it's disgusting. And if your mother saw you saying that, would she be happy? Would she be proud of you? I don't think so. So maybe grow up. Not sure. Maybe get some maturity. Not sure. I'm not your mother. So, I mean, maybe it's your punk ass daddy who didn't teach you anything. But yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you're choosing to continue to be childish. How sad. That's unfortunate. But I mean, hey, I can't save anybody. I don't have any children, so I'm definitely not gonna be raising anybody else's. But good luck with that, sweetheart. Good luck with that. Derek, did I? How do you know that? Let me know. Maybe you was that cockroach somewhere crawling around, and you saw me walking to school one day or something. Maybe you're a cockroach in your life, and you go into people's schools and try to get to people's homes, and not exactly sure how you would think that I don't know my dad, but believe what you want. Me being the spoiled daughter that I am, I believe what you want. Oh, well, that was just wow. I've personally never been an idiot, so I don't know what it's like not to be properly educated. For you to believe an entire race of people don't have fathers. Well, for one, I got here somehow. How it works is mommy and daddy, when they love each other, they come together and then they make baby. And baby's not in the stomach, baby's inside a uterus. Do you know what a uterus is? Your parents should have had this conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? Your parents should have had this conversation with you about how babies are made. It's not from a stork. But if you want to believe that, you probably still believe in Santa as well. So I'm gonna let you have that, because I don't know how you could think an entire race of people don't have fathers. How did they get here then? Well, I've never been stupid, so maybe Derek, you can kind of educate us. Well, you're not educated, man. Well, can't teach stupid. I learned that from my daddy. So that's unfortunate, Derek. You know what I'm saying? That's unfortunate. But hopefully, you grow out of that delirium and gain some intelligence, and grow out of that stupidity and not embarrass yourself in front of the public, because that's pretty sad. But at the same time, you're probably too stupid to understand that you're humiliating yourself. So I really just, I don't know. I just, I'm going to pray for you. That was the prayer, by the way, saying that I was going to pray for you. These comments on my phone is frustrating me. You're good. You're good, Bess. It gives me a chance to be able to kind of acknowledge certain people. Because he says that, ninjas, we all know ninjas don't have their daddies. Well, I don't know how I got here. Best, I don't know how we got here, bitch. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how any of us got here. But it gives me a chance to educate my group. It gives me a chance to acknowledge the society and educate them on how to deal with people as stupid as Derek. Derek is uneducated. He doesn't even know how reproduction works. So, I think he was saying, they didn't have you. So, Critter, you really don't get a joke, friend. I know what they meant. Okay? But thank you for the explanation of the stupid thing that Derek said. Oh, God. People can't even recognize a freaking joke. People cannot recognize a freaking joke. And obviously, Derek doesn't go here because if he did, I talk about my dad often. So it's like the reason why I'm not fully acknowledging the fact that I have my dad is because I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I really don't need to prove a damn thing to any damn body. You know what I'm saying? The funny thing is that Derek doesn't know his dad. So he has to come and try to tell me that I don't know mine. My whole life, even actually before I was conceived, before I was even brought into sperm meets the egg, right? Before that even happened, I was planned for. I was wanted before I was even created. So, I don't know what to say about that. You know what I'm saying? Why do fathers abandon their children? I mean, I'm not a father who's abandoned my children, so I wouldn't know. You'll have to ask maybe Derek's dad. Maybe ask Derek's dad because, that's the reason why they're angry about the fact that I have my dad and that all the other people that I know have their dads. Because, well, he doesn't have his dad. And so that's where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not a father who's abandoned my children. I don't know what that's like. And I don't have a father who's abandoned his children. So I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? But Derek, he hasn't had his father. So because of that, that's the reason why he's acting the way he is. You know what I'm saying? Derek is unfulfilled. Derek is sad. Derek is angry. So, Critter, you probably are too. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's like to be miserable. I've never been miserable. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know what that's like. But, majority, I believe, I think it's pretty substantial. Actually, first of all, I don't know why I keep on saying ninjas. Ninjas is not a race. Ninjas is not a race. Are you referring to African American people? Because ninja is not a race. Are you referring to that? But if we are referring to races, it's actually white fathers who abandon their children more, statistically speaking, which is not surprising because it's white men who commit most of the crime, whether it be rape, murder, theft. White men are the leading causes of all of those things, especially in America. If you look at serial killers, 99% of them are white. So, I mean, what do you expect from a whole bunch of murdering, stealing, you know what I'm saying, savages? What do you expect? I mean, I don't really see how that would translate. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you're talking about. God, Critter. You need help, friend. You need help, friend. You need help. If you're saying that word and you're talking about a race of people that you're not a part of, you're more than likely not an African American, not a Solani person, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's look at something. I'm going to show you something, Critter, okay? I'm going to show it to everyone. I'm going to show it to everyone. And as you can see, hold on. I'm going to turn it around so we can all look at it together as a group. Let's look at it together as a group. You see that? .gov. Let's look at it as a class. Look at that. White. Look at all these crimes here. Ooh. Rape. 11,000. Murder, manslaughter, 36. Robbery, 25. And I know this says 2019, but the statistics are the same. Actually, for the class, I'm going to look it up for 2025 because we just stopped in 2025. So let's look at it together, shall we? Let's look at it together as a group. Let's see if it's out yet. Gots to look. Is it on juvenile? Here we go. Do I have a table? Let's see. This is not an official website. Having a hard time finding the official website, guys, for some reason. I cannot find it to save my life. Okay, well, since I'm having a hard time finding it from here. Oh. Homicide victimization. For some reason, I'm having a hard time finding a recent statistic. I know they probably don't do it like every single year, so that might be a big reason. But yeah, you can look this up yourself. We already looked at it from 2019. The stuff hasn't changed. White people in America make up 60% of the population. So, is it still 60%? Let me look it up. Percentage Americans are white. 59.2%. 60%. Basically 60%. 60% of America's population is white people. So, it's not surprising that y'all commit most of the crimes. Black people only make up 13%. So if we were making up more crimes than white people, that would be quite alarming, considering that y'all are 3 times our population here. So I think that criminals, people who go to jail for murder and rape and manslaughter and theft and fraud, wouldn't be around to raise their children. Now would they? But you know what I'm saying? Hey. I'll do that, guy. You should account for the fact that y'all are 13% population. Yes, I do consider that. We are only 13% of the population. I do consider that. However, we're talking about, what I'm going to assume, because they keep on saying ninja is not a race. So we're going to assume that they're trying to talk about race here and that Black fathers are not around their children. But it's white men who abandon their children more than Black fathers. And I'm not somebody to kind of float around the conversation in order to prove my point. You can look up the research yourself. I just don't know exactly how to put that in. Let me see if there is a statistic, actually, if I try to ask a question. Let's see. What website is this? Fatherhood.org is actually hilarious. That's it. That's it. They really don't have. What is going on? When is this? When was this made? By the way. And we're not just talking about fathers being directly in the home, right? Because we all know what happened. Well, no, maybe y'all don't because y'all are not educated. Allow me to educate you a little bit, okay? I think it was in the late 80s to like the 90s. They said for women to be able to receive government assistance, a lot of black women, by the way, white people are more on government assistance than black people. Black people and white people removed fathers from their homes because that was one of the things, one of the requirements in the paperwork, that if you wanted to receive government assistance, food stamps, WIC, whatever the hell for your children, a man could not be in the home. So that removed a lot of black fathers out of homes. So we're not talking about fathers not living in homes, because there's a lot of white fathers who weren't in their homes because of that as well. We're not talking about people living in homes. We're talking about fathers actively being in their children's lives. Yeah, this is just talking about children, black children. I need like all of them, everybody. Let me see. See, they're talking about being physically in the house. I guess it's hard to kind of like measure it, but there's been people. I wish I had it saved. I'm off of TikTok right now, guys, and I'm off of Instagram right now. That's usually where I go to figure out where the articles, where the people who talk about this found it from, a lot of the times, because their articles, for some reason, I don't know why Google, because sometimes even Yahoo and stuff can sometimes be very biased when you're trying to look up stuff. They won't show you what they're showing everybody else, which I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because of where you are or what's going on, but I'm trying to fucking find an article that has a thing. She can do with whoever the fuck she wants. My moderators are allowed to do whatever they want. I trust them fully. Once again, ninja is not a race. Are you referring to African Americans? Nobody hit a soft spot. She's my moderator. If you're being disrespectful, then that's what we need to talk about. Y'all are being racist. Because the only reason why you're bringing up the fact that I don't have a dad is because I'm a black woman. When I do have a dad. That's how I got here. And I know who my dad is. But I don't need to tell y'all that because it's not important. It doesn't fucking matter. You're trying to use that as a talking point to try to be disrespectful towards me. And my moderator's not gonna let that happen. That's just not what she does. Okay? That's what she's here for. Because this is not a debate, right? Because we weren't talking about single dads at all. We weren't talking about black people at all. We were talking about AI. What they said was to be rude. Y'all are trying to be disrespectful. Y'all are trying to be rude. And you're not hitting a nerve. In order for me to have my feelings hurt, what you have to be saying has to be fucking true. And even if it was true, let's just say for argument's sake that I didn't have my dad, what the fuck does that got to do with me? And what that has to do with this conversation that we're having about AI? Nothing. You're just saying this because you're uneducated. It's not a debate. In order for us to debate about something, I had to bring up the topic in the first fucking place, which I didn't. We were talking about AI. But how we got on this topic is because y'all were trying to be racist and rude because y'all are not educated. Y'all don't have anything else. My presence threatens you. So you decided to come out here and try to say something rude to me. For which I rebutted with something. So. We give people ammo every day. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? However you say your name. Micah? What do you mean by that? Are you saying that us existing is giving y'all ammo to be racist towards us? When you're racist, you're uneducated. So what prompted that idiot to try to say, first of all, y'all are trying to say the word nigga because you're trying to be disrespectful and racist because you're uneducated, right? What prompted you to say that is because you're triggered by my presence. A black person sitting here on her platform, by the way. Y'all don't buy any tickets. You're not forced to be here. Nobody's holding you hostage, but you're uneducated, so you probably don't know that, right? Me just being here in my pure presence is threatening you. So you're feeling the need. It's like a visceral reaction. Seeing me, you're disemboweled and you can't help yourself. You have to say something to me. And you have to think that it's going to be something that's going to hurt my feelings. I'm educated. I'm beautiful. I'm wanted. You're not. So, of course, you're going to go out of your way to say something disrespectful and rude because that's all you have. You have nothing to contribute to the conversation that actually involves education, that actually involves intelligence, that actually involves knowledge. We were talking about AI and how it affects our world and why I do not believe that it's complete trash. You went out of your way, and well, you didn't, but now you're trying to back up what the previous racist said because y'all are threatened by me. And you're miserable. And you're a loser. You all are a bunch of miserable losers. So you can only hold on to the tiny little baby things because you have nothing else. See, I'm fulfilled. I'm loved. I'm wanted. I'm cared for. So I don't know what it's like to be a miserable loser like y'all. To be uneducated like y'all. So all I can say is bullshit. But let's just say for argument's sake, right, since we're on the topic, that Black fathers are the leading people who are absent in people's homes, right? That doesn't mean that I'm matching that statistic. But you automatically assume that because I'm a Black woman. You have no actual fucking evidence. Not a shred of it. That my father is not with me. Or I don't know my dad. And you're saying, well, I guess you're trying to say nigga, which I know what the term is, but you will refer to an African American that way, because for one, you're not African American. Let's talk about that, right? African Americans, Black people, even if that were true, that Black fathers are the ones who are the absent ones or are not around for their children, you could not automatically say that it applies to me just because it's a large statistic, but you're uneducated. And that's why you think that type of stuff is okay. And actually, this conversation pivots into what I want to talk about next. Right? This is great. Oh, let me open this up. People will try to disrupt y'all peace. Okay? They will. Let me look over this. People will try to disrupt your peace. People who are miserable, people who are sad, like these losers on here, they will try to disrupt your peace. I don't know what chimping out means. I guess you're trying to say that I'm a monkey. If we put your picture up and my picture up and compared it to a monkey, I would love to know which one of us looks more like a monkey. I assure you it won't be me. Send us a picture of you, right? And then we can compare and let the audience decide. Anyways, people like that, like losers like that, uneducated swine like that, will try to disrupt your peace. It's not going to work. Like it's not going to fucking work. And y'all don't need to let it work, right? Because they're uneducated. They're not smart. They lack intelligence. Do you know how little brain power it takes for them to say she's chimping out? Okay. Like I they're expecting you to be on this thing crying and upset and all that extra stuff. You're like a skin flake in the air. You're that insignificant. But see, you're in loser universe on miserable street, living in that uneducated basement. So you really don't know or notice that you're not saying anything of intelligence. It's not even original. That's the craziest part about it. It's not even original. Say something funny. Say something witty. You don't even know what witty even means, do you? Like, these are the people who try to steal your joy, your peace, your happiness, and y'all can't let them. Especially when you're Black. White people are obsessed with us. You will never see me, someone who is obsessed over, no matter what white person comes across me, they're obsessed with me. Getting upset about anything they have to say. They cannot live without us. Clearly. Because they come into our lives. They come into our business when we're out in public. They try to come into our businesses. They try to come into our schools. They're obsessed with us. Now, why would I be upset or jealous or triggered by a community of people who literally cannot breathe without my presence? That's literally, as a matter of fact, I am the sovereign, obviously. It's right in the name, babe. That is like the queen being upset that the peasants are throwing shit at each other. They're throwing shit at my walls. Well, the shit's not landing on me, so I'm still gonna reign from the throne. So, but at the exact same time, you're watching my every move to see what I do, what I say, so you can copy it. Mm-hmm. When the queen wears a red dress, now all of a sudden everybody's wearing red. When the queen says that she likes mashed potatoes, now all of a sudden everybody's eating mashed potatoes. I can't be jealous or upset or whatever about people like this. And I talk primarily to my Black audience when I'm talking about this stuff, especially Black women specifically, because we are the ones who get the most hate and disrespect. For some reason, people think that they can disrespect us, but it's the jealousy. They're drowning in their own jealousy. They're choking on it. And that's the reason why they try to come in and try to steal my peace, because I'm smiling right in their face and it's genuine. I'm laughing right in their face and it's genuine. I'm happy right in their face and it's genuine. And they can't understand why they're still so angry. They'll have everything they want. They're supposed to have the American dream. They're supposed to live in nice suburbs. They're supposed to have the nice houses and the nice jobs. And they're supposed to have all these things. They're supposed to be so much better than us. Yet and still, they're watching our every move. They come inside of our lives and say rude things because they have nothing else going on. Y'all are empty. And you believe like a leech. If you attempt to try to stick your little self onto me, that you can suck the joy out of my body and feel yourself, and it's never gonna happen. See, over here, I'm gonna remind you what you look like. I'm gonna remind you what you are. You're sad. You're the cockroaches that I step on when I walk outside. You're the ants on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. Zero significance. You are the skin flakes in the air. Well, Scott, talk to a therapist, honey bunches. Because I'm not your therapist. So talk to a therapist. That's the crazy thing. That's why I never get upset when white people say crazy things. I just don't. Because you're sad. You're sad, you're jealous, you're pathetic. You can't stand it. Literally, y'all should be jumping for joy right now. White people, y'all should be so happy right now. Your people have the entire government. The entire government. Y'all should be jumping for joy, but yet you're still so fucking angry. While Black people, we over here having the time of our lives like we always do. So a lot of people over here having the time of our lives like we always do. Y'all are jealous of our joy. Y'all are jealous of our happiness. Y'all are jealous of our fulfillment. We have community. We have love. We have each other's backs. We create family out of thin air. We're all each other's cousins. And y'all can't fathom that. Y'all are so empty and angry. And I just can't get mad at people like that. I just feel bad for you. That must suck. You know, when we were growing up, they would tell us, don't go to sleep angry. Don't go to sleep angry. It used to have something to do with spiritual stuff, but as I aged, I think it was mainly because it was just like, if you go to sleep angry, you're carrying all of the negativity that you had with you into the next day, right? So I agree with the whole idea of not going to sleep angry, but y'all go to sleep every single day angry. Angry as hell. And the funny thing is that it's involuntary. It's like y'all can't stop. It's like a disease. Y'all walk around with delirium. Y'all walk around in delirium. And so then y'all think that spouting this crap, saying these mean, disgusting things to somebody like me is going to make me feel like you. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. I'm never going to feel like you. I'm never going to end up like that. I'm the queen. This is my kingdom. This is my throne. I'm never going to end up like you. But you think that saying those things that I will. And the reason why I didn't answer right away that I actually do have a dad is because I don't need to defend myself against you. I believe that my dad is not in my life. Go ahead. If that's what gets you through. See, I don't sit around waiting for people to tell me that their lives are terrible so I can feel better in my mind. I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm overjoyed. I have people who give a shit about me. I have people who look out for me. I have people who love me. And one of those people are my dad. One of those people is my dad. He wants me to have the world. My dad wants me to be the smartest, prettiest, healthiest girl on the planet Earth. Anything that I ask for, I can have. Anything that I ask for. But see, y'all don't have that. And let's just say, for argument's sake, my dad wasn't around, right? Right? Let's just say if he wasn't around. I also had, because I come from a community of people where we love each other, I've had other dads in my life. I had my biological dad, and I had physically 3 other dads in my life. Technically had 4 until my mom got divorced. Had a stepdad, had 2 dads who basically helped raise me when I was going through school. I have their numbers. They go out of their way to make sure that I'm doing well. They follow me on social media because I'm their little girl. And I have a godfather as well who wants the absolute world for me. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But see, because y'all are so miserable, y'all are consumed with this disease. You can't see past your own misery. You'll never have that. So even if my physical, biological father wasn't in my life, for one, that doesn't make up who I am as an individual, period. My dad's feelings would have absolutely nothing to do with me. But y'all would think that because you're uneducated, right? But even if my physical father wasn't there, I come from a community of people, a group of cultural people where our entire thing is everybody is family. I grew up with brothers who were not biologically my brothers, but called my mother Ma. Because in my culture, in my community, we're all family. Everywhere you go, you meet a new cousin. Because historically, how my people got started was that we were all different people from different parts of a certain continent, and they put us together, and then they separated all of us for people who we knew. We had to learn a completely new language. We got stripped of all of our spirituality, our culture, and we had to start from scratch as a new group of people. And we had to rely on the strangers that we would meet because we never knew when we might be separated. So because of that, it birthed this beautiful culture where we are all family. We are all connected spiritually. So even if my biological dad wasn't around, I come from a community of people where I was raised by the men in my community, by the women in my community. I had plenty of aunties who weren't physically my aunts. My friends' moms, some of them are my mother. I call her mom. Godmoms, call her mom. Stepmom, call her mom. Because I come from a community of people where everybody raised everybody's children. If I was to go to the neighbor's house, the old lady neighbor's house, she was my little G-ma. I come from a community of people like that. My community is full of love and joy. But see, you can't see past your own misery, so you probably don't even understand what I'm saying. Wilson, why would I care? Why would I care about that? What made you believe that you needed to tell me that information? I'll wait for your answer. What did you believe was going to occur after you told me that information? It doesn't bother me who you like. You're never gonna date me, and I'm never gonna want you. So I'm curious to know what exactly would be your result here from telling me that. Did you just need to get it off your chest because you're actually self-hating? I mean, I can't help you with that. You will have to go to therapy. But yeah, people like this will try to steal your joy. People like this will try to take away your peace, and it's never gonna fucking happen as long as you make sure that it doesn't, right? And that also goes for people in your life, right? People in your personal life, romantically, familial, friendship, so platonic, anything like that, right? People will try to do it, and sometimes people do it unintentionally because they want things to work out the way they want them to. And sometimes people do not realize that they're being manipulative. But then it comes down to a point where you have to ask yourself, Okay, is the love that I have for this person worth the disturbance that they're causing in my life? Is the love that I have for this person worth the disturbance to my peace that they are causing? And if the answer to that is no, which if you even have to ask yourself that question, the answer is no, then that means that person doesn't need to be in your life. And that's for anybody. And especially for my black girls out there, okay? That counts for our mamas too, girls. That counts for our mamas, girls. And I know, listen, I know. I get it, girl. I do. I really, really do. I really do get it. I do get it. Because it's like there's nuances, and you know your mama's your world, and you want everything to just be so beautiful and perfect with her and all that extra stuff. Sometimes you can't have a relationship with your mama. Sometimes you have to see her sporadically, every now and again. Maybe, just maybe, you might be able to have access to her once a year. But a lot of y'all are trying to hold on to those relationships because you don't want to think, oh, I can't have a relationship with my mama. She's my mama. Yes, you can, friend. You can. Because she's stressing you out. She's frustrating you. She's overwhelming you. And you don't want to let it go, despite the fact that it's causing you so much discomfort and so much pain and so much suffering. Like you can't grasp it. And as a girl who had to go through that transition myself, trust me. And that's with anybody too. Not even just your mamas, your siblings, that partner, that friend that is draining. All of that. All of that is included. Hey, Nelson. What's up? Glad to see ya. Didn't think we'd catch you on the live. But yeah, we're talking about, releasing relationships that are not supposed to be in your life. Because I know, as somebody who's experienced it personally, I was the doting daughter. I was the daughter who truly wanted a relationship with my mother, a strong relationship with my mother, to be close to my mother. But that's just not how it went. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, and like one thing I had to acknowledge in myself, that it doesn't mean that somebody is a bad person just because you don't have a relationship with them. Like I used to think that, like, oh, well, if I cut off this person, and that means that they're a bad person. No. It could mean that this person just doesn't want more for their life. Thanks, Nelson, for mentioning that. Doesn't want more for their life. It doesn't want to do anything, or they just aren't seeing these things the same way you are, or whatever. And it's causing you to give more than you can take, more than you can handle. And it's just like, I knew how draining this is. Crazy, and that's why I tell you, I get into therapy, please. It's not for psychos, okay? It's meant for you to not become a psycho. Get into therapy, because my therapist helped me understand this and learn this. But like, I was spending so many countless years trying to stop myself from acknowledging the pain that relationship with my mother was causing me, because I was just like, well, she's my mom, and she's not a bad person. She's a good mom. She's did all this stuff. And if I say that I don't want to have a relationship with her, and that means that she's a terrible mother. And I had to really, with my therapist, I had to sit there and talk to her. And she was just kind of like, what I love about my therapist is that she's one of the people where she don't sugarcoat. And I like that. Okay? Give it to me straight. Okay? Hard. No sugar rim. I'm going to take this shot back. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it to me like that. Just straight like that. Okay? I need to be able to acknowledge it and get my feelings out there and talk about it, right? And she's the one who had to help me acknowledge, like, no. This whole time you're focusing on this and thinking that this is what manipulation looks like. This is what pain looks like. This is what trauma looks like. And you're thinking that you have to put up with this, which is the same as this, just in a different format, because you think that this relationship is worth holding on to, and it's not if it's causing you this much grief. Okay, Wilson, you're still not answering why it's important for me to know that. I don't want you. I never did, and I never will, and we're never gonna date. So why did you think that I needed to know that? I can tell you why you needed to tell me that, but I have a strong understanding that you won't believe me. So, you know what I'm saying? Back to what I was talking about. And so she helped me recognize that and was just like, well, manipulation doesn't look like this, this, and this. Sometimes manipulation is not very direct. As a matter of fact, manipulation is more so indirect than direct. And it was because I was comparing it to other relationships that I had that were kind of direct. That was kind of like in a manipulative way. And a lot of people who have indirect manipulation, they don't even realize that they're doing it. They just think it's just their personality. And at the end of the day, I had to ask myself, was the relationship I was trying to hold on to worth the disturbance to my peace that I was receiving? And no, it wasn't. And in that moment, I was like, well, well, I'm gonna sit over here and cry about that. That's pretty sad that I have to let this relationship go, but at the same time, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not. Oh yeah, she's been on it all day. My other two moderators are gone for some reason, but yeah, she's in here and she's on it, which I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Kenji, the bestest, of course, as always. But yeah, I want y'all to acknowledge that for, the beginning of this year, it's 2026, we still got a good solid 11 months to go, you know what I'm saying? And so I want y'all to really acknowledge that and pay attention to that. As we grow as people, sometimes you grow apart from somebody, sometimes somebody's not growing with you, and that is what results in you being so angry. And we experience grief a lot more than we think. When you talk about grief, people think that you're talking about, oh, somebody died, and that's the reason why you're grieving. No, actually, we grieve a lot. I wouldn't say every day, but we grieve often. I think you'd be a great friend. Black women are great friends. White women are ready for relationships. Wilson, what's your race? Yeah, and it's just like, I'm trying to sound my phone. Show me the comments. Yeah, some of the comments. It's fine, best of kids. It gives me a time to tear the haters apart, which I love. Y'all know that I love doing that. You know I love eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, yeah. What's your race, Wilson? Because I'm curious to know. Actually, it's gonna be nice. What's your relationship with your mother like, Wilson? What's your relationship with your mother like? But I want y'all to acknowledge that because, like I said, how often do you hear, especially if you're Solani, how often do you hear, well, actually, it's in any race, but, I'm Solani, so I'm going to talk about my people. How often do you hear, well, they're family? I know, especially for us Solani kids, oh, well, you only get one mom. You only get one dad. Okay. Well, that's your grandma. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? They get to cause me grief? Every single time I talk to you, I get a sunken, unsettling feeling in my chest. Every single time that I'm prepared to do something, or I feel like I have to have a difficult conversation, I feel like it's not going to go the way that I need, and somehow you're going to make it about you when you're the one who caused the pain to me. And now all of a sudden, I have to consider you because you're some type of superior in my life or some type of connection to me. Huh? What about what I feel? Oh, yeah. I love it, Nelson. I eat it up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, I'm an outcast in my family. Hey, as a black sheep, I understand what that is. I go around black women only. My mom, my grandmother, none of my brothers or cousins had their fathers in our lives. Okay, I didn't ask you that, Wilson. I will repeat the question one more time. What is your relationship with your mother like? I didn't ask you if you grew up around black women. I mean, if you're black, your mama got to be black or something. So I figured that. If you're black, you didn't say you was half black. You said you were black. So I'm pretty sure your mom was black and your daddy's black. So that's not what I asked you. I understand that you're coming from a place of lack of education. So once again, I'll repeat it and I'll repeat it slowly. What is your relationship with your mother like? Go. Okay. But yes, it's something that anybody can apply to any relationship, any family, race, no matter, it doesn't matter. How old you are, it doesn't matter. Right? But a lot of the times we hold on to people and keep toxicity in our life because we're told that we're supposed to. And it's like this specialty thing held for parents specifically. Oh, you only get one parent? You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them? Okay. So let me get, maybe, and this is what I love. I love asking people direct questions. And people, when you ask people direct questions, sometimes they like to make it seem like you're being mean or being rude. But I'm trying to gather an understanding of what you're saying, right? So you're saying that because this is my mother and my father, or whatever, I deserve to be disrespected. I have to tolerate being mistreated and abused because of who they are. They have a right to disrespect me, mistreat me, abuse me, neglect me, manipulate me, because they are the people who helped create me. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm hearing? And when you ask people direct questions like that, now they're doing like, oh, no, I'm not. Well, what are you saying then? Because that's what it sounds like to me. It was great. Black women have always been authority figures in my life. I see them as authority figures. White women I view as relationship partners. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that you're threatened by black women, and you feel like you can't be a man in a black woman's presence, and you believe that white women are submissive and scary enough that you can feel like a man with them. Well, unfortunately, that's not how that works. And on top of that, that's not black women's fault. That's yours. It always has been, and it always will be. You should be able to be a man no matter who you're dating. And what you're saying is that you're so threatened by black women's presence that white women don't threaten you, and that's the reason why you date them. Which the funny thing is, first of all, you're self-hating, which is sad. That's unfortunate, friend. But at the same time, the hilarious thing is that the likelihood of you losing your life with a black woman versus a white woman, those odds are very different. See, if a black woman called the police on you, which the likelihood of that happening is very slim, I don't necessarily believe that you will lose your life. But if a white woman did, wow. But I'm not your mother, and I'm not your therapist either. So we gotta figure that out, Wilson. Best of luck to you. I think you're too old to still be acting like that and to still be self-hating and still be so lost. But maybe this can be an eye-opening experience for you. Stop being threatened by women in general. Hate to say this, but man up. Them things that's supposed to be dangling from your shaft. Yeah, grab those and tighten them up. The closer they get to you, the better. Then hopefully you'll feel like a man then. That's because I can never. He's just not. It's a self-hating term, Nelson. Like he thinks that black women are intimidating, which is sad. Because if you grew up with authoritative women, then that should have made you want to be even more of a man. But like I said, I'm not his mother. So that's unfortunate that you feel like you can only be a man amongst white women because white women are submissive. But at the same time, if a white woman feels threatened or she's angry with you and she wants to bring a man in to deal with you, well, ring a ding ding. Her favorite legal security guard who can take your life and walk away. But hey, I don't believe in procreating white people, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own thing. I think that white people are great. I think that they can be nice and kind people. You won't see me procreating with one. But you know what I'm saying? You can go right ahead and do whatever you need to do. But that's just not for me. Personally, that's just not for me. That community cannot be trusted if you ask me. And I don't feel like, putting myself or if I was to ever have any children at risk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that if I was to have a biracial child, let's just say that I did have a biracial child with a white man, right? I know that my biracial baby would be accepted in my community. They would be safe in my community. Now, would they get a couple of ribs? More than likely. Will they be called light bright and stuff like that? More than likely. But we all get ribbed in the Solani culture. We all get got. That's as far as it would go for my child. I don't know if that was as far as it would go in the white community. I cannot say the same. And as a matter of fact, I won't risk it. He's gonna find the right black man. It's like any race with a black man. She's right, yeah. You don't listen to talk about it. You sure can. Go right ahead, Bestie Kins. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, he's just self-hating. It's sad. It's pathetic. But I mean, here we are. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people like Wilson. That's another reason too why I acknowledge the haters. why people don't know, I also acknowledge the haters for that specific reason too. Is because I want y'all to, for one, know how to handle them. For two, not be threatened by them. For three, maybe you don't realize that you have some internalized hate or whatever the hell, and me embarrassing them will hopefully open your eyes, okay? They say a smart person learns from their mistakes, a wise person learns from others' mistakes. So, yeah. So there's a lot of people out there who don't think that they're self-hating, but they're intimidated by black women. That's the reason why they don't date them. But you automatically believing that you'll date a white woman because she won't be, on your ass about things, or she won't confront you. That's a poor way of thinking. You're not dating this woman because you actually care for her. You're not dating this woman because you actually like her or love her, or that you want to build a connection with her, or you want to know who she is as a person. You see her as non-threatening. That's strange to me. Like when I hear that, this is what I hear. You sound like a male lion who goes and dates a cheetah because you find the lionesses too intimidating. All the other lions are looking at you like you've lost your fucking mind. Because what the hell are you doing over there with a cheetah? Oh, the cheetah can't fight me back. The cheetah is skinny. All they can do is run. Huh. Makes us start to sit and question, the rest of us in the group. Makes us sit and question, are you really a lion? Supposed to be strong, powerful, intimidating. You're supposed to bellow and miles away, people can hear you roar. You finna go fuck with that little kitten because you afraid? Right. Yeah. Basically, me and her have been best friends for going on a decade. And in October of this year, oh my God, Mexicans. In October of this year, or September, no, September, I think, because I think we started in September in 2016, and then it went to August in 2017. Let me know, Betsy, you might know. But yeah, September of this year, I would have known this girl a decade, and me and her are linked. Okay, connected to me and this girl right here, right? Me and this woman, this beautiful young woman. But yes, like I want y'all to always know, like y'all know that I'm never triggered by anything that these haters say. It doesn't bother me, like, because it forces a conversation that I want so many people to realize. Because like I said in previous lives, there are people out there who aren't confident like me. There are people out there who are not witty like me, who see this type of shit. And September, okay, thanks, Betsy Cans. Who see this type of stuff and they fall apart. See this type of stuff and think, they call me a monkey. Ooh, bitch. I'll eat a fucking banana on this damn thing. I don't care. What the fuck? Like, it's nothing threatening to me. I'm still smarter than you. I'm still prettier than you. I'm still more wanted than you. I'm more fulfilled than you. I'm more successful than you. I'm going to be even more successful than you. And you're still going to be there being miserable. Period. Come on, Virgo. Like, Nelson, I knew there was something I liked about you. Me and Queen are October Libras. So, right behind y'all. Usually Virgos and Libras get on. Well, Libras get along with everybody. but yeah. But yeah, it's not surprising that you're super like-minded and smart and wise with the rest of us. Virgos got that good. Hello? But like, it's like I do it because I want certain conversations to be brought up. I want y'all to know how to handle people like this. I want y'all to be able to acknowledge who you're talking to. Because what they say to me oftentimes is just a reflection of them. Them calling me a monkey is because they feel like I'm a monkey. And they monkey see, monkey do everything that I do. They're here because they have no life. They're here doing this mean, nasty things because they have nothing. They have nothing. So they think that them trying to use that nothing to spout at me is going to make me feel like them. And I have to remind them, for one, I will never be you. See, I get to be me. You have to be you. Right? Hello, period. And I don't know what that's like to be a miserable freak, but you do. So of course you're acting out because you have nothing else. Right? And you're saying, oh, I'm fatherless because you don't know your father. Or you don't have a good relationship with your father. I talk about my dad all the time. I really care. I keep my dad at arm's length, right? Distant relationship. Me and my dad have a very interesting but a relationship that works. Interesting but working, relationship. Me and him don't spend too much time together. Ring a ding ding. Hey daughter, are you alive? I am. Hey dad, I have my birthday coming up. Can you give me some money? Cool, got you, done. That's it. My dad's not an emotional person. He never has been. He never will be. And as a daughter, I had a very emotional mother, so I never looked for that with my dad. Me and him a very clear understanding. We're both business oriented. We're both big hustlers. We both want to be independent and have our own companies and our own businesses and be by ourselves. Me and my dad, ADHD, got it from him, all that. Like my dad and me, we have very intricate little things about each other, but we understand one another. We are both also hotheads. So when it comes down to each other, we can't spend too much time together. Me and my dad say very few words. Okay, he asked me what I'm doing, what I'm up to, asked me when I'm going back to college, tell me to broaden my vocabulary, tells me that he always wants me to be smart and be successful and rich, and always rooting for me to be successful and amazing. And that's about it. I don't need any more from that. My dad is not somebody I want to get close to, and I don't need to get close to him. Our relationship is perfect the way that it is. I love it. Just like it is. I love it. And that's as good as it's going to get. So it's just like, but people like that, they want me to defend myself. And no, I got my dad. Even if I didn't, I was raised by some amazing men in my life. My dad didn't raise me by himself. He didn't. As a matter of fact, there are other men in my life who I believe contributed more to my raising than my dad did. But they are just as much of my fathers as he is. If I was to ever get married, the one who I consider my school dad, who helped raise me a lot, he would be the one who walked me down my aisle, not my biological father, because I connected to him more. He helped shape me more than my dad did. Even though I had a relationship with my dad and knew my dad, I never really got close to him like that. My school dad was the one who went out of his way to make sure that I was good, who still follows me on social media, checks in on me, makes sure that I'm doing okay. And he would be the person walking me down if I got married. He would be the one that I would call because I was a daughter to him, and I still am. And I talked about him before. He's the one who called me Demo. That was a dad to me. In my elementary school years, I had a man like that who was also like a dad to me. Then I had my godfather. So it's like, as a Solani person, even if my biological dad was not in my life, it wouldn't threaten me at all because I come from a community of people where other people raise your children. I have 1,000 cousins. I have a whole bunch of siblings who are not biologically my siblings, but they are still my brothers. They are still my sisters. Their moms are my mom. My best friend's mom is my mom. I call her mom. All that. I come from a community of people where we're all family. So it's like, I'm not really threatened by that. And even if I didn't have that, right? This is why these people who are not intellectuals are not smart. They don't think. Even if I didn't have my dad, that has nothing to do with me. Even if I didn't have my dad, and I want you to know, if you're not Solani or African American, you're not part of that culture, but that's okay. Even if you didn't have your dad or a man in your life to help raise you, that is not a failing on you. It's not. You can't insult me with something that's not my responsibility. That ain't got shit to do with me. If my dad didn't show up the way that he was supposed to, if my dad failed in any way, shape, or form, that is not my cross to bear. You can't threaten me with that. You can't intimidate me with that. That is my father's failing. So if anybody that you're insulting him for failing. And I'm insulting me, because I'm exceptional. I'm an individual. Nothing that my father does has anything to do with me. I'm an individual. Now, you can try to insult me from things that I've done. But when people say fatherless behavior, well, I'm not fatherless. I've had several fathers in my life, but if I was fatherless, once again, not my responsibility. But see, you as somebody who's not educated, you wouldn't get that. Right? And so, like I said, with the peace stuff, y'all, I really, really, truly, honestly want y'all to acknowledge that your peace is of the utmost importance. Because when we don't have peace, y'all, our brains can only be in distress for so long before you have an early stroke. People are having strokes in their damn 40s, in their 30s, from stress. Because we refuse to let go of certain relationships, because we refuse to acknowledge that something is harming us. We have to acknowledge that stuff, and it hurts, and I know Like I said, I was a people-pleasing daughter. I thought that I had to do everything under the sun, and if I just did this and did that and did this and did that, I'd be the perfect daughter, and that nothing could ever go wrong. That's not how that works. Thanks, Nelson. I appreciate that. That's not how that works. And it was my therapist. You know, I'm always talking about therapy. It was my therapist who helped me recognize that and understand that it's not worth it. She said something to me, and it was just like, what? Like, she said something so simple. She was like, Koi, you're a good person. She kept asking me, why do you do what you do? Why do you keep saying what you're saying? Why you keep going above and beyond? What is this? Like, you know that this is hurting you. You know that this is manipulation. You know all these things. You're acknowledging all of it, but yet here you are still holding on. What is that? And then she said that to me, and then she was like, so yeah, it's time to go ahead and consider that. And it's like, that's when I was like, for me, that was the hardest relationship that I had to let go of. Now, I don't plan on for the rest of my life not talking to my mom. Like, I think that when it could be a situation where me and her can be in therapy together, where we can probably discuss things, because I know how I would get in a conversation with her, that I will try it again, maybe in a few years. But I said for right now, since that's not an option for us, for there to be an outside person listening to us for some reason, we both know how to communicate. We both know how to, say what we're feeling and kind of go from there. We just cannot connect. And I don't know what the fuck it is. We've tried it for years since I was a child, trying to properly communicate our emotions and our feelings or whatever, and we just don't hear each other. I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on, and that's why it's important for you to have, an outside person, specifically a therapist, to be there to tell y'all what's going on and help you see what's going on in the relationship. So they're an unbiased person who can be like, okay, you're doing this, this, and this, and that's why it's not working, and you're doing that, that, and that, and that's the reason why you're not listening. And that's kind of how you can heal a relationship when you both can't seem to connect on it. And so maybe one day in a few years, I'll be able to get us both in therapy. We can talk about it together. But for right now, that was a really hard relationship to let go for me, because as a daughter, for one, you just don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a mommy's girl than I am a daddy's girl. I'm a huge mommy's girl. And so it's like, I want to do everything for my mother. I want her to be happy, and I just want the best for her. And I thought that meant sacrificing myself in order for her to be happy. And that's not how I should have been thinking. I was a kid when I was thinking like that. Doesn't matter how I feel. Doesn't matter how much it upsets me. Doesn't matter how much I don't want to do this. I'm going to do it anyway because I want her to be happy. It was destroying me from the inside out. And that's why, like, I couldn't wait to become an adult. So I was like, I want to do that. But as Black girls, it is so hard for us because our moms, like, I feel like, especially as being treated as the oldest Black daughter, I'm not the oldest on my mom's side, but my older two siblings were in our house for a long time. And so I was the oldest, and I carried the majority of the weight and the responsibility. And so with the oldest Black daughter, like, even the oldest daughter in general, but specifically talking about my people, it's just like the relationships with our moms, it's like we survive and rely on each other, but also we're getting traumatized and experiencing hardships together while simultaneously traumatizing one another because we're both in survival mode. Does that make sense? Yeah. Your mom was like your little sister? Yeah. It's just like, it's strange, especially too. My mom was a young mother. She was a teen mom. My mom became a mom when she was 16. And then again when she was 19, 20, and 21 or 22. So she was a young mom. And something that I've been acknowledging too is that it's all of our first time on earth. Yes, people have more time and experience, but this is the reason why I'm such an advocate for do not have children young. Wait, live your life, spend your second decade, your 20s, learning about yourself, growing, learning what you want, who you want to be, all those things before you consider making a permanent choice like that, which is bringing another life into the world, because you do not get that time to grow on your own. You have to consider somebody else before you consider yourself. And oftentimes, mothers are put on the back burner, which forces them to grow up with their children. And unfortunately, that comes with a lot of traumatizing to the child because you're ill prepared. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you want. You don't know why you're so frustrated. Why you and your kids don't really have that close of a relationship because you didn't have the proper support and you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. This is your first time here. What the hell do you know? And so a lot of the times, a lot of kids grow up like that because they do not have the proper parents because the parents were ill-equipped because they know what they were doing. And so knowing that idea of, okay, this is their first time on earth, they're still figuring shit out too. Well, you should have figured that shit out before you had a kid. And that way, it's less figuring and more raising. You're trying to grow up while trying to raise somebody while they're growing up. And that's where a lot of parents have problems. It just sounds like have kids at all. Hey. And people are having kids later and later. I just met a lady the other day who had her child at 39. But her daughter is wise. Her daughter is well grown up. She's well established. She has a place to live. All that stuff. Like, because she had her child later. And it's because she gave herself time to grow up and figure out what she wanted. Yeah. A lot of them are. First time on earth, but at the end of the day, you should have been raising yourself before you had me. Because now, not only am I forced to go through your transitions with you, your growth with you, your mistakes with you, your preparedness with you, not only do I have to go through all that traumatic shit with you, I also have to help raise you. Because how many times have you heard parents be like, oh, we raised each other? Your child shouldn't have helped you raise yourself. Oh, I matured and wised up when I became a parent. That shouldn't have been the time when you did that. You should have did that before the kid. Because you didn't gain all that wisdom and maturity the moment that they were born. No, you had to grow into that through time and life experience and getting a couple of battle scars. Yeah, you wanted to give them a good life, but at the exact same time, you had to grow up, but that shit takes time. And unfortunately, during that time, your child is present for that. When I was a younger kid, I used to help babysit my aunt's kids a lot. And she was always clubbing, always partying. And this is not to dog on her or anything like that. But she was always clubbing and partying. That's why she always wanted me to babysit. So I helped raise like 3 of her kids. I used to go over there like every other weekend or every weekend. And I would be there my whole weekend raising her children. I was doing so much that her second child, there would be times where I would go over there and when he was an infant, he'll be in the crib and he would cry. He'll wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, newborns, for some reason, they wake up at the ass crack of dawn. He'd wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning or when he was like a few months old and he would cry. And he was at that stage in his childhood where he was able to like stand up in the crib, but he wasn't like talking or walking yet, but he was able to kind of like wobble on the edge of the crib. And I'll never forget it. It was like 2 couches, like in the L shape. It was 2 couches. I was laying on one that was right in front of his crib, and his mama was laying on the one on the side. He woke up, and he was like whining and crying and everything like that. And when I woke up, he was looking dead at me. Not his mama, me. Because he knew that with me, I was going to feed him. I was going to change him. I was going to play with him. I was going to get him ready for his day. He could barely recognize his mama. Because she was always out there partying and clubbing. And me, as a 9, 10, 11-year-old, I'm sitting over here looking like, why in the hell is she out here like that? Why is she not out here raising her kids? My auntie was like 22. She was in her 20s. Trying to have kids. In her 20s. That's why she clubbing. That's why she drinking. That's why she smoking. That's why she making immature decisions. That's why she's doing the shit that she's doing. Because she's a kid herself. Young. Made some mistakes, had some kids. And now she know what the fuck she doing. And I was like, no. If I am to ever become a mother, I'm going to make sure that I'm well established. Now I'm seeing that there are like night nannies and stuff like that where they'll come when you got a newborn baby. And while you and your husband sleep, they're taking care of your child throughout the night. They'll see you they come in at like 10 p.m. and then they'll stay until 10 a.m. the next morning. Have your newborn all night while you get to sleep through. If I was to have a kid, that's what I would have. 14, 21, the coach, boys and girls club. You got to see a lot of young kids who had parents like that then. If you were coaching and all that stuff else, and yeah, you've probably seen a lot of kids whose parents are like that, who are still trying to be a kid while raising kids. How you got a 9-year-old, a kid, babysitting your kids while you go out clubbing? I mean, don't get me wrong. I was always a wise kid. I was always very mature for my age. I was always very responsible. So I get why she felt comfortable leaving them with me, because she knew they'd be alive when they came home and fed and all that stuff. I was very mature. But at the end of the day, you were trying to be a kid so bad that you entrusted a 9-year-old to be with your newborn and toddler. Because you wanted to be young so bad. Thanks, Nelson, for always telling everybody that. I appreciate it. But like, that was kind of what it was like. And so that's why I'm such a huge advocate for do not have children young. Because I see what that does to people. And I know why a lot of young people, especially young girls, have a hard time letting go in those maternal relationships, because it's just like, oh my God. We grew up together. She's supposed to be my ride or die. She's supposed to be my best friend. That relationship is eating you alive. Same thing with, certain friendships and stuff that I've had to acknowledge. Like, not all of us are on the same page. Some young people are very sheltered. They grow up with their parents making all the decisions for them and doing stuff for them. And you grew up without that. Of not having your friends, like you're having people stick out their necks out for you. You having to constantly raise yourself, all that type of shit. And you can be in two different levels of your life where you're super hyper independent. You got a person who's super dependent. And sometimes a friendship like that can be extremely draining, where this person has no individualism at all. And doesn't mean they're a bad person if you cut them off or that you don't have a relationship with them. It just means y'all are not equally yoked. So you need to spend less time with them or not have a relationship with them at all if they're causing that much disturbance in your life. And I'm giving you all these examples so y'all can acknowledge, oh shit, that might be a relationship in my life. One good thing that I'm able to acknowledge in myself when I'm thinking about it is that, like, when a person calls you, whatever feeling that you get when that person calls is a great determinator of your relationship. So, for instance, since she's in here, the beautiful Queen Icy, my lovely best friend, when she calls me, I get a, woo, Bessie's calls me. Bessie's calling, ring a ding ding, hi. Like, that's what I feel like I get when she called me. When my little sister called me, I'm just like, oh God, what does she want? In a very playful way, because I already know she's about to call me, so she can walk to her bus stop while she talks to me about whatever the heck she wants to talk to me about. It's going to be a funny, fun conversation. I get a good feeling when my friends call me. I get a good feeling when my little sister calls me, or little sisters call me, right? But oftentimes when I used to have my mom, like, call me, or if I would see her, for some reason, like, I would get a bad feeling in my chest. Not necessarily because she's a bad person, but for some reason, some way, I just know that she's going to do something to frustrate me. And when you call, or if she calls me, she's probably going to ask me for something. She probably got herself into something that I need to help her get out of. If my certain siblings call me, they want something. Now, like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. They can just not be the people for you. So my older siblings, I don't really have relationships with them. My relationships are kind of like, maybe we'll talk, maybe we won't. I'll see you out in the world. I'll see you out in the wild. Maybe I'll catch you at work or something like that. But we don't talk on a day-to-day basis. I probably talk to my siblings. My oldest brother, I never talk to him. And my big sister, I never really talk to her either. Maybe occasionally through Instagram messages. Because they really don't have anything to offer me. There's no hate towards them. I don't think they're bad people. They're just not the type of people for me. They will cause too much grief in my life. Too much disturbance to my peace. And to me, that shit's just not worth it. It's not. It's not. And I want y'all to also acknowledge that. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean that person's a bad person. It just means that it's not a proper relationship for you. It's just not. And I want y'all to just take that and grow with it. And saying that used to stick with me, and it still does, actually. Some people will say that some relationships are there for a reason and some for a season. Meaning, yeah, some relationships out there are meant to be permanent and they'll grow with you. Y'all going to evolve. But Some of them, yeah, they'll be great for you in your 20s. They were great for you in your teens. When you reach the age of 30, you're not going to have most of them in your life. Exactly. Only having people in your life that is right for you. That's right. That's right. And sometimes that means that you're not going to be able to hold on to those relationships. And that goes for platonic, that goes for familial, parents, siblings, friends, that goes for relationships. Sometimes you outgrow people. And that's okay. Sometimes people, they reach their limit. That was something I had to acknowledge too. Sometimes people reach their limit. And what I mean by that is that, like, they don't go up from here. They're either going to stay here for a very long time while you progress, or they're going to stay here forever while you surpass them. And depending on where that limit is, and depending on what placement that limitation sits, is where the problem can come in. If your friend's maturity peaks in high school, well, not going to be hanging out with you when I'm 25. Because I don't have time for high school childish stuff at 25. Mm-mm. If your career goals, right, is just to make just enough to get, bills paid, and maybe you can take a vacation, afford taking a vacation once every 3 to 5 years, well, me and you won't be friends for very long. I have big goals, big aspirations. I want to do a lot of big things. If you can't see past the reality of stuff, if you can't see big things happening for you, if you don't believe that you're deserving of being in big, wealthy, amazing spaces, well, me and this is not going to work. If you're not somebody who knows how to take initiative, or someone who knows how to stand up for yourself, or somebody who is going to become more independent the more that you grow, y'all, that relationship is not going to work very long. Maybe I'll see you in passing, maybe I'll see you every now and again, but mama over here is an innovator. Mama's trying to grow. Mama's trying to go somewhere, right? Doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'll see you on the flip side. I'll catch you out in a while. Maybe you'll see me in another 6 years and I will have lunch with you, check in on you, see how you doing. You're probably going to be doing the same thing that you were doing 6 years ago. So I won't need to call you often. Right. And usually relationships happen organically like that. Usually you call less, or you just don't text at all, and over time y'all just never talk to each other again. Sometimes it's organic, sometimes you move or whatever, and sometimes you gotta physically do it. And something I had to really learn is stop holding on to a relationship. If you're feeling like you're constantly putting in, and you're not getting anything back because you're so desperate for this person to return their love to you, it's time to let go. It's time to let go. It is a bad investment. You're emotionally and spiritually and mentally investing in something that's not going to give you shit back. As a matter of fact, it is going to give you shit back. It's not going to get a shit. You're not getting anything else back. That's it. That's it. So consider that with your new relationships. Consider protecting your peace. Consider caring about yourselves more. Just consider that, because at the end of the day, your peace is important, and having a peaceful environment creates a clear mind. It creates a space for you to be able to see where you want to go, who you want to be, how you want to grow, where you need to grow, when your brain is not focused on surviving every interaction. You're able to focus on other things that are for your betterment. So I want y'all to consider that. I want y'all to get used to that. And yeah, just don't let people steal your peace, no matter how tiny it is. And if something is making you uncomfortable, say it. And if somebody's thinking that you're being too much, they don't actually love you. They don't actually care about you and your comfort and what you need. Because if my friend expresses to me, hey, Bess, I feel like when you do this, this, and this, it kind of just makes me uncomfortable. Is there a way for us to pivot? We can change a little bit, because it doesn't create a good environment for me. I don't have a good experience or good interaction with you when these things happen. Can we change it? Yeah. I can change that behavior. I can adjust. Let's compromise. What can we shift here, smooth, whatever. so we can grow and become better together. Because I care about how I treat you. I care about how you feel. I care about how our relationship is going. I care about how I communicate to you, and I will correct that in the future and be da 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 da. That's why I love Queen Icy, because me and her do all the time. When we feel something, even when we think that we're being like extra or petty, we'll be like, you probably don't care, but I'm still gonna reach out and say, hey, I was wondering if you felt like this because I feel like I did this and I want to make sure that we're good. And we'll tell each other, oh yeah, Bess, I did. So I'm glad you said something. So let's talk about it. Or we'll be like, no, girl, you tripping. What you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And we'll go from there. But it's beautiful communication, and that's why our relationship is gonna last forever and ever to the do us part. So yeah. My literal freaking soulmate. Yeah, mental health's real. Keep your peace no matter what. Exactly. I don't know. People just don't. I don't know. And something I'm gonna leave y'all with here, so I can get up off this live. My mom told me this, and I stick with it because I think it's very wise. Right? If your end goal for any relationship is to maintain that relationship and for y'all to be on good terms after a conversation, no topic's too hard to talk about. It's just not. If you're trying to reserve that relationship, if you're trying to show that you love this person, that you care for them, and that you want them to be happy, no conversation is too hard to talk about or go through or talk about whatever. None of it. Because you know you're going into it with respect. You're going into it with the end result being, I want to preserve this. Not, I want to get back at you. Not, I want to make your feelings hurt the way you hurt me. Not, I'm trying to get a rise out of you. That should not be your end goal. Do you want this to be a good, healthy relationship or not? And if, based off your answer, you'll know. If you don't want this to be a healthy relationship, if you're not trying to preserve this relationship, you're going to go in there with a different mindset. But if your goal is, I want this to be respectful, I want this to be healthy, I want us to know each other and love each other and really respect one another and come out of this good, then no conversation is going to be too hard. But yes, y'all, don't listen to haters. Fuck all those losers, miserable little fuckers. I love y'all very, 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 very much. And I will see y'all on the next live assist. Like I said, if I'm not there on Wednesday at 6 p.m., y'all see me on Friday at 7 p.m. If not, I will make a post. So look out for the post if y'all see me on Wednesday on Friday. Or check the channel to see if I had posted a video. I have some shorts coming up, so I'll be looking out for those. And yeah, I love you guys very, 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 very much. And I will see y'all in the next live. Bye.